moving towards the headshot position. This is a nice crossfire. Actually, Battali's going to face early. No kills for him. Flusher gets picked. Now can Stanislaw hold the push? His team are coming through the vent, and JW is looking for the flank.
Yeah, they're actually backing away. This is very odd, isn't it? And they're going to be caught here also by the rotation. So I think at the moment, OpTic are wondering, what actually are these guys doing? Because they could have, they had a window there to actually charge onto the site to take down Stanislaw, get the bomb planted. But they've all fallen away. And even though 5 of them are alive and they have a 5 versus 3, 4 of the players are really tagged up at the moment. So these USPs are much more dangerous than they normally would be. Everyone very tagged out. Very strange situation. No, how is nobody dead yet here for GODSENT? Rather ridiculous circumstance, and Nafa's finally going to get a kill there, and the bomb goes down. This is so weird, and everybody could just fall to a single USP bullet at this point.
Mixwell alone versus 3 needs to avoid the crossfires, the trade situations. He's spotted now. Flusher will move into main. He can double peek with JW. Mixwell doesn't know where all 3 players are, or maybe he does, and he's resetting the situation. He has the range advantage here as well. Lecro planting the bomb. So Mixwell has some time. He's close enough to the site, but again, almost all these players need 1 bullet. Flusher may need more than 1. Mixwell with 40 HP. So many angles. JW on the high ground. And a happy GODSENT take the pistol round. They are sitting just to our left. Strong start from them.
Yeah, that was really strange. It's quite interesting they decided to go for the double back there. Really, really interesting stuff. It did work out in the end. And OpTic, they don't get that start that they really wanted to. And again, I do think it's really interesting what we heard from Stanislaw in the interview. That he said that it's the close games that they really struggle with when it's a bit bit of a back and forth.
With JW lurking in T warehouse, I think part of the reason they pulled out of B is all the people running into mid, trying to capitalize on the players being out of position. Anyway, Tarek with the deagle over towards B bomb site. Not going to get an opening kill. Headshot, a position most people will face from, but it can provide an off angle as well if you just crouch in there, if you have the relevant setup. An empty B bomb site, and again, questions for OpTic. Do they position themselves for some exit frags, or do they just hide on the map and not give GODSENT bonus money with these UMPs in play?
Yeah, and I mean, if they carry these deagles into the next round or try to prioritize some level of survivability as they look for exits, they will be able to find lots of spots here to use these guns in the next round, and ones which are much more favorable. As opposed to if they just rushed in here like, oh wow, that's actually finding a pretty funky shot there through the event, but as you can see, just all running through a choke point into an AK. I'm fairly sure they could get way better engagements to holding onto those deagles in the following round, as opposed to just rushing in like that. So we'll have to see if they throw away Tarek's deagle, although he's going to get the kill onto Flusher, so he should be able to survive now, and maybe even pick up the gun if the bomb does blow it his way. But no, Pronax around the side will prevent that from happening, and it will just be the AK of Stanislaw to take into the 3rd round here for OpTic.
On the plus side, OpTic ran into the AK, so that's $300 per kill, as opposed to a UMP, which would have been a lot more money for the T side. GODSENT 2 for 0 at the moment. There is Mr. Schneider, got quite the history himself. Former Fnatic player as well. Lecro is going to the Mac 10 on this anti-eco. We'll see. Well, Mixwell's got the AK, along with some Kevlar. Stanislaw has Kevlar as well, but he wanted to have Stanislaw on a deagle and Mixwell with the rifle. Mixwell will be playing alone on the B bomb site with a 3-man stack on A for OpTic. So this deagle of Tarek could be really nice if the timing works out well. They don't actually have any flashbangs, and there's a bunch of nice pop flashes to work with. But wow, look at that Naf finding himself a very nice shot there. He is eventually traded, but perhaps he's done enough damage here to thin out the numbers somewhat. If there's another deagle kill to be had here, there'll be problems here for GODSENT. In fact, they're losing members all over the place. Stanislaw wrapping around the back. He's picked up a UMP as well, and that bomb is down in front of him as well. So he's going to be looking at a fairly defensible spot here, perhaps good for 1 kill. And in the meantime, Mixwell is trying to find himself a position as well, and they have no idea where Mixwell could possibly be, and he's in a bit of a weird spot too, by the door. Both these remaining OpTic players, the ones with Kevlar, that may make things a little more difficult for GODSENT, especially with Lecro half HP. The door is open for Mixwell. Oh, it's suddenly closed. Opportunity found though. JW spots him, and the wallbang will be enough. That could have gone OpTic's way, but it wasn't to be. AK's collected by what remains of GODSENT, and now it's time for the full buy. Normally I'd say watch Flusher on this map for GODSENT as well, but it's too easy for me to pick him every time, so I'm going to say Lecro on the GODSENT side. Been lots of conversation about him.
And we see JW just spots him, and then Mixwell walks into the wrong angle and takes it in the face.
Can't really get more wrecked than that. Door shut in your face, then shot through the door, into the face. Great stuff. Got sent off to a fantastic start. And this is the side that they're going to have, in my opinion, more ability to really run the momentum. Of course, being able to dictate the pace and the aggression on that terrorist side. And OpTic just having to defend here. And no AWP for them just yet. Their economy's been taxed in these opening rounds. The first proper buy we're going to see.
Oh, nades! Look at the damage that.
Chunky damage. That's actually a very big difference maker if they are to run in now. Because these M4s, they're not going to be a one-shot kill if the player has full health and with those helmets. But that's 4 players now that will die from a headshot of one of these rifles of the OpTic players. So that does actually have a really big impact. And GODSENT now, they're going to be less inclined to try to go for picks. You can see now they've come back into middle, looking for that mid-take, and then they can progress around from there.
Yes, they don't have much information as to the situation in mid at the moment. They can see the vent has been broken. Could be a CT in there, but Stanislaw's been the lone player on short this entire time, holding an off angle of his own. And these angles, you've got to be careful of people in connector holding off angles as well. So from that position, maybe he would be... to catch somebody off guard. Speaking of which, JW, perfect timing for him. As soon as Stanislaw abandons shot, Mixwell gets picked off. And they may think of splitters on. You see Tarek rotating. Now Nafla goes down on B. It's an open B bomb site.
Yeah, big problems here. I don't know how they could even stop this. No one's in position, and losing players towards the A site too. Just an overall disaster. Flush up sits in the Z connector. And, oh, who is this? But Stanislaw walking haphazardly in front of him. The intrepid explorer. Mr. Stanislaw. And that's going to be another round for GODSENT. And a round where they did lose a lot of advantages early on. I mean, they lost so much in the way of hit points early on, which can actually have a big impact, but they really recovered very well from that and punished OpTic from just having absolutely no information or presence on middle whatsoever.
Flusher looks like the leader of some kind of Swedish gangster crew with his beard. We'll see if he can lead his crew to a 5th round against an ecoing OpTic. Naf and Stanislaw with some Kevlar. Everybody's bought a pistol, mostly P250s. The honest P250. Seems to have reasonable moving accuracy, the P250, when you're in close quarters. Can get you into a nice situation. Slow start from GODSENT. Schneider will give the information to his team. There's been a rotation out of mid, a reactionary rotation. No one in B now for OpTic. What will they do? Will they choose to stack the A sites? Mixwell moving to have a look at mid. Mid-range though, not ideal with these P250s. Damage fall off kind of sucks in comparison to a 5.7. There they go. Like flies into whatever those grills are. What's your place? What are they called?
No idea. Fly's getting wrecked. Let's leave it at that. Rush is the only man standing here with that P250, and well, not much damage for him to be able to do from this position. It's going to be tough here for OpTic to mount that comeback because GODSENT they've been building so much in the way of bank, especially with a round like this. If they are able to not lose anybody else, they're going to be sitting on a fairly nice buffer of money to work with in the following rounds. But when we start to see the AWP coming into play for OpTic, it's just that situation where, because they're already down so much, and if they do lose the round, they have to eco again. I wonder if they'll be confident to try to take an aggression against GODSENT, because so far GODSENT have been able to just more or less execute the kind of early round as they want to, without any disruption. And that's a trend that can start to happen if a team starts to feel like, oh, we have to play safe because we're already behind loads of rounds and we already have a pretty poor economy. You know, we don't want to take any risks. But sometimes those are the spots where you have to take the risks. So I'm curious where OpTic will be there.
Going back to flies, the scientists in production said it's called a bug zapper.
That's very technical.
5-0 OpTic with $5,000 to $7,000. Rush dropping an AWP for Tarek, who buys another one. Mixwell, rather, buying the second one. So double AWP setup. In case of double AWPs, I would be looking at Mixwell and Tarek. Quite like Mixwell's AWPing on the OpTic side. Let's see, Mixwell heading towards the middle area. Tarek towards B. He's deploying a smoke grenade though, which is rare when you're AWPing the B bomb site. Staying on the high ground for now. Playing it safe perhaps in case of early aggression. You see Flush is making his way towards A, so These Orcs may end up being on the retake. Nafly taken down early.
That's bad. I was going to say as well, this is a quick rush into a bomb site with smoke grenades is one of the weaknesses of OpTic setup with double AWPs. It's hard to retake as well with AWPs. Now we can see Rush is just pinned on the bomb site, nowhere to turn, and taken down by Flusher, handily so as well. And now Mixwell has to get close with these AWPs as well as Tarek, so we will start to see how awkward this is. And I wonder if this is to some extent and a counterplay from GODSENT after watching some demos that OpTic have a tendency to just double up straight away, because this is a perfect way to deal with that. Look at how easily they just ran into the bomb site, the awkwardness that came in when you're trying to rotate with those AWPs, and there's been no resistance almost from OpTic in this round.
Mixwell spotted. Will he be hunted? There's a reasonable amount of money on the GODSENT side to make it worthwhile. Lovely protection crossfire though with Stanislaw under the boost. 2 players left for GODSENT, and maybe their hunting journey will come to an end. Flusher being teased. Stanislaw, will you go for the repeak? Seems he's tempted, but don't think that would be wise. 6-0 for GODSENT. Great score if you're Swedish.
Yeah, it really is. And
unless you're a traitor, unless you're an enemy of the states.
What if you have dual citizenship? What if you are from both places?
I don't know, roll a dice there.
Oh, we got a tactical timeout coming in from OpTic Gaming. It's something that they do need indeed. Because right now GODSENT are... It's just the way that they're winning the rounds. They're winning the rounds so smoothly, so easily, without any effort, it would appear. And OpTic, so far they haven't been able to make any of their plays actually work. They're sort of at the mercy of GODSENT. And GODSENT, it's early days. They haven't even thrown, half of their playbook at OpTic just yet. There's so much to go to. So it becomes quite troublesome. I wonder if, it looks like we're going to see just a single AWP here onto OpTic. I like this. It's definitely more versatile. Unfortunately for them, Naf's going to be stuck on a UMP. Otherwise, though, they have pretty much full utility. So not the worst situation in the world. Let's see what their adjustment looks like.
Mixwell heading towards the A site on this occasion. With the limitations of their buy, I do wonder if we'll see some aggression. He's going for the off angle into the A main area. Meanwhile, JW on the boost. 2 players in mid, although one of them is in the vent, that's Tarek. So JW may not find anything for a while. He's going to bide his time. Oh, there's a push straight into the B bomb site through the smoke. Nafly in trouble. But what can he do? Facing TP Blood saves up Tarek from out of nowhere. Going to take 2 down. Lekro almost getting falling as well. Nafly still alive on the side with a headshot, and now he's got the cavalry coming in. Rush to pick off Flusher, Lekro rather. Leaving JW alone. That could be a nice nade, but Rush has got the health to survive. Switching out to the M4. As time ticks on, the CTs will be in a better crossfire situation. They will hear that reload as well. They will know where he is. He's trying to isolate the CTs to give himself a reasonable advantage. Nice angle held on the high ground. Life gets more difficult for JW.
There it is, finally finished off. They were slowly but surely closing on the JW there. There were some small opportunities, but that is definitely a very low percentage situation. Wow, look at that spray down from Tarek. Doesn't get much better than that. Lining up there in that tiny slither of an angle. And now OpTic, they claim their first round, and with that round, due to the fact that in the previous rounds, GODSENT have been losing players, it hasn't been such a walkover that they've been surviving with 4 or 5 every round. Actually, their money's fairly stretched here, so there's quite a window for OpTic to turn that momentum, to turn the tide, but they have to get things done here, and already we see a fast boost up from GODSENT into middle to get JW some picking conditions there as, wow, we see OpTic super aggressive there, mixing things up. There's the response, aggression on A. This is madness all over the place.
Turned into absolute carnage. Headshots on the A site, leave the bomb site completely open. His 3-man procession continues to rotate. JW though, cutting one of them down, spots another one, can't get a fatal kill. They rush, oh, feels a little bit lower. Then down JW goes with his Glock, leaving it in a 2 versus 2 bomb. Not on the site, there are smokes, but they're disappearing. And they need to cross once again, rush with an angle. And down goes Pronax, bomb in an exposed position now, but they don't know where Lekro is.
Where is Lekro? Up onto the forklift, a lot of space for him to play with. That bomb that needs to be picked up, so the CTs understand the situation they must. And there it is, the peak from Tarek, and it will be good. Lekro goes down, and you gotta love the response here. So fast from GODSENT to realize that there was a push from 3 players on B storage, so they instantly hit the A bomb site because of that. Very smart from GODSENT, and very, very cool to see that OpTic didn't lose the round because of that, actually.
GODSENT forcing it up 3 AKs. They do not want OpTic to build any money. There are still advantages to be had, and they will take the appropriate risks in order to exploit that Mixwell with the 1 AWP for the CT side. In mid for the time being, Pronax picking early, can't get picked off though. Mixwell down to 50, lucky to be alive at this point. Flusher up early as well. They can Molotov, they can force Anderslaw out of this position. There's the molly, he's got to come out with a flashbang though. Can he make it across? He can't. Lecro to take him down.
Yeah, it's a bit tense now here for OpTic. Losing man early on the CT side of Cash is never easy. It's really difficult to pick which spot you leave open, and often, you know, it requires a response in that sense. You've got to try to get information somewhere so you can get the bodies in the right places. Where is the response here from OpTic? They don't have any so far. They've gone super passive on the B-bomb side. They've got no information towards A. Mixwell's very passive in middle. So right now, GODSENT could be doing so many things, and OpTic just are not going to know well enough in advance. And so that leaves them in a situation where they have to deliver individually. We need to see the OpTic players having an amazing defense here. But will they be able to? GODSENT are starting to ready up the push, and OpTic are actually shuffling towards A little bit. This might work out for them.
And that fly's rotating into Mixwell's position so he can go towards the car. And again, it's going to be about the bomb crossing to the site. In the meantime, players being picked off. There is a smoke, so Mixwell can't stop the bomb, but Nafly can stop Flusher from holding down the middle area. That allows a two-pronged assault for OpTic in what's going to be a post-plant situation. More smokes going down, but there are no lays left apart from one flashbang onto Pronax. Just to slightly delay these players. The boost comes in, and they won't find anybody in main. Schneider around the forklift area. Hope for his sake someone's covering his back. He's in a very tight spot. Nafly and Mixwell coming out. Mixwell, they're not ready to take a shot there. Nafly, down he goes as well. Tarek spotted. 3K for Schneider towards the end of the round. GODSENT very happy with that. They took a gamble with 3 AKs and it paid off.
Very bad timing for OpTic to lose a round. They haven't yet secured good enough economy to keep the buys rolling in. So very nicely done by GODSENT in that round. And, you know, they got that early pick-off and they just played it well. They just got the bodies into that bomb sort of choice. And, again, OpTic, they didn't really get ahead of the play too well. They did make some good guesses as to what was happening. But GODSENT right now definitely looking a bit sharper than OpTic when it comes to, you know, hitting those shots, and that's always dangerous when you're up against any Swedish team. But that said, the eco here, the PT50 eco, is going to be all about A. The push comes in, Flusher, very blind, but not for too long. But still, blind enough that Tarek will have a bullet straight for him. And now it's going to be a 5 versus 4, quickly even up here as Schneider starts to wrap around. But Naf answers there as well. This is a bit crazy, but the bomb in the meantime is making its way safely to B.
Yeah, he saw Schneider trying to back up, trying to get out of that headshot range, but he couldn't do it fast enough. GODSENT trying to calm the storm. Rattis picks up an AK. Very nice exposed plant from JW while the rest of his team running distraction. Pronax with a nice and unexpected angle. Down JW goes though. There's the first one. Rush with a nade in his hand. Stanislaw trying to pre-fire. P50s and a Mac 10 left. Less than ideal for the side. Pronax getting dinked though. There goes Necro as well. This is falling apart for the T side. OpTic, how are they going to do this?
This is so weird. This is so weird. Pronax trying to play off the pop flash here. Very low players all over the place here. They don't have anything, but they're just swarming. It felt like, even though they went down 3 players, it's just constant swarming action. That's so weird that this running with the PT50s can be so successful. Why doesn't it work for me, James, when I'm playing matchmaking?
It looks okay with GODSENT losing a Mac 10 in main, but then things fell apart from there. Schneider too deep on shorts, and it's very awkward trying to shoot people around those barrels when they pick from that forklift position. The AK gets picked up by Rush, and then it just continues to collapse the round for GODSENT. Again, they've got a buy though. They've got 4 AKs out, some grenades. There's opportunity, but OpTic definitely better equipped in this particular round. Will we see a fast play through a smoke again from GODSENT? Always nice to have that smoke down. You see the very fast Molotov as well. That grenade though could do big damage. Only to Pronax. Mixwell going forward rather than back. Attack the best form of defense. Random angle will pay off the numbers game. Too many T's there. JW goes down. Tarek in defense once again. Got to be careful though.
Yeah, this is looking very tough now that they've lost the main defender on the bomb site. Mixwell, he did get that one pick off, but will it be enough is the question. Now we'll see Flusher going for the default plant there. As you can see, it's got some visibility towards B storage. That's a good safe plant to make. And right now, OpTic are trying to set up that coordination into the B bomb site. But 3 from the vents is going to be very tough, actually, if we have a proper defense. And there it is. They line up for Lecro. Too easy, knocking him down. 2 versus 3 now as we do get a trade from Stanislaw, but Lekro is not done. He could be in for the 4th frag soon, but no, stolen away by Schneider. And that will be the round there for GODSENT, just barreling into that B-bomb site.
Back and forth we go with the trade of rounds. OpTic, 2 players on 5k, and the rest of them pretty damn low. Anywhere, any holes are goals, they say. GODSENT in a good position, and this time OpTic go for the 4th buy. Random assortment of grenades on the CT side. There's a scouted player on Tarek as well. We've seen nice stuff from him before. JW needs to be careful with such a close position early. One flash through that smoke and they may be in trouble. There's a gap almost all the time in the top left of that smoke, which he's looking for anybody around the quad position. CTs will know it well as well. So can this hold for OpTic? That's not a good start for Rush.
Yeah, running like headless chicken around there, trying to find some kind of to work with, but systematic destruction of the A defense here coming in from GODSENT. And it's only so far Stanislaw to make a frag, and that's it. GODSENT looking strong at the moment, very strong indeed. And what an important match this is for both of these teams. Can't forget this is an elimination match, and it's hard not to feel a little bit bad for OpTic having to run into Virtus Pro and then Astralis, and then now being in a best of 1 situation against the likes of GODSENT, a Swedish team that can upset pretty much anybody on any given day on a map like Cash.
Yeah, this is a horrible start to the match. Forced onto the eco on this occasion. Standing for the P250. Other than that, nothing really to talk about on the OpTic side. Schneider's got to back off once again. Getting his bell rung up close. Going to be holding the AWP from range instead. Nice adjustment by GODSENT. Flusher, seeking and clearing with the MAC-10. And nothing round for OpTic. They have 2 more opportunities to claw back some rounds in this half. Definitely don't want to go into the second half of 3 rounds from their CT side. That would absolutely suck. They've got the rifles coming out now. Some grenades as well, some flashes, some smokes, but it's not ideal. And again, we may see some pop flash aggression from them.
One thing for OpTic though is that out of all the a lot of the teams that we have at the major, I do feel like they're one of the more composed teams, or one of the teams that are capable of making those comebacks and not really letting the scoreline like this really get too into their heads and affect their performance too much. So hoping that they bounce back for their sake. Oh, nice little pop flash play. Perfect timing. They've got the bomb as well. That's a big pickup. A really big pickup. That changes absolutely everything. They do a forward smoke here. They set up a defense in this position to try to defend the bomb. And they have a rotation coming in as well. They've got 3 players to defend this perimeter, if you will. How do GODSENT respond?
Yeah, I mean, GODSENT have had to have been expecting some aggression, or they should have, based on the situation for OpTic in these last 2 rounds. So that is a really bad spot for GODSENT. One that's easily avoidable as well. You can look at the way Flipside start their T sides and their approach towards main for an easy example, especially when they have an AWP. You see, well, that it just holding this angle, top of the stairs, and somebody close on the box. In case of any pop flashes. Rush still alive for now. Lekro getting picked off. This is really bad for
Yeah, Flusher not really able to get too much damage done there. Just 1 player, that's not enough. You can see that Schneider was still trying to hold things together towards the B side of the map, but I mean, it's so clear that the objective for OpTic is just to hold that position in A main. That they can live and die by it in this round, and it's worked for them so far. GODSENT now starting to come into position. Schneider caught in the back there by Tarek, and it's just JW left. They know exactly where he is, and it's kind of crazy if you think about it that this round has been lost, and lost because of a pretty common mistake that you don't often see. Because typically, I mean, they were running a default, and when you run the default, you usually put the bomb in the middle, because the default type rounds allows you to kind of respond if there's action towards A or B, let's say. In this sense. So for Pronax to have the bomb there when the rest of it, like 2 of his teammates are towards, the B side of the map. I mean, they did have 2 at squeaky door, so perhaps there was a plan there to try to get in fast. It's hard to say.
Last round of the first half, both teams on the bye. 2 ops on the T side. Schneider picking up the second one for GODSENT. So we'll see if they can have a better time with things. Again, he's smoking off the front of the B area. Smokes off the most common angle from the CT side. Stanislaw picked off early towards mid. Looks like he was going for a push. Had Mixwell in for support, but that hasn't worked out for them.
So this is interesting actually, because we have 2 AWPs on this T side. So it's a little bit harder to use that advantage of the man advantage positionally when you have the AWPs. They're less mobile, less dynamic. You can't hit areas as fast as you would be able to with rifles necessarily. But at the same time, it is a 5 versus 4, so that intrinsic advantage should be enough for them to work with. And they are moving as a unit at the moment. OpTic Gaming, once again, we saw this from them previously. They haven't done a push anywhere to really identify what's going on. They are starting to move into A main now to really see, if there's anybody here, and they've detected nothing so far. We can see, Mixwell and Rush are in that position. Now, you'd want to see one of them actually start to rotate already, because GODSENT indeed are actually going towards connector. You would rarely expect this. This is a problem.
GW spots one, but there's the bomb in an awkward plot spot with 40 seconds left. How do they force Nafly from his position? He can be on the high or low ground as well. Very hard to re-peek into that. Rush running distraction at the same time. GW going to get spell run immediately. Off he goes, leaving Schneider alone. So indeed, OpTic are going to get 2 rounds on the board. I don't think Schneider's got the time to clutch this. 3 players, 20 seconds to collect that bomb. This surely can't work out for him. Looking for a pick on the high ground, Molotov on the low. And it's just a case of dying at this point for Schneider. He'll do what he can. The nade flying in as well. 5 rounds for OpTic, a surprising 5 rounds at this point. Say a very important 5 rounds. They have a fighting chance now.
Yeah, and that was a really weird round in many respects. A lot of credit needs to be thrown Nas way just for covering that angle, realizing that connector was a real possibility from GODSENT, because it's not often exploited to such a degree that you would even have the bomb sent through that position as well. So pretty crazy play, and spotted out by Naf. He only got the 1 kill, but that let his team understand exactly what was happening, and indeed allows for this 5-10 situation. Now, so much does always rest on this pistol round, so it's going to be interesting to see what they choose out of their playbook. It's hard with pistol rounds as well to, you never want to necessarily make them too elaborate, because the more elaborate they are, the more split your team is, the more things that could potentially go wrong. So I would actually expect OpTic in this situation probably to try to keep it more simple.
You see a comparison with Lecro and Nafly. Lecro, a man who's getting a lot of attention in this tournament, been doing well for GODSENT, continues to do so here with 16 kills on the board. Nafly, a guy who went nuclear towards the end of last year. Can he keep that consistency for the remainder of the tournament? He'll need to with a 5-round deficit versus GODSENT. Should be back into the game soon. Just a short break for the players before we begin once again.
Yeah, it's so far it's been really interesting to see how the performances have been going in this tournament. And here we do have the ADR leaders of the major. And Flamey is a guy that's almost always up there, isn't he? And we saw some great stuff from ELEAGUE, Liquid having many 30-round and plus matches, and coldzera ever the consistent man. So to be honest, like fairly expected names. I mean, nothing really jumps out at me. How about you?
No, this is a pretty solid lineup of players, and it's very strong stuff for Na'Vi if Flamey is popping off and firing on all cylinders as well. And they have probably looked the strongest, I think, in this so far. You see they have gone 3-0 in the Swiss stage, and they'll make their way to the Fox Theatre for Friday. VP as well, up there with a solid 3-0 scoreline. Do you have a favourite so far for the tournament?
I think, well, Na'Vi, based off of performances at the major, Na'Vi have by far looked the strongest. There's been almost no hitches for them, and the scary thing with Na'Vi is that they haven't had to play a T side yet. That's the crazy thing. Their CT sides have been so good, they've read their opponents so well, and they've innovated there in such a strong fashion that no one has even seen their T side. So, yeah, Na'Vi definitely an easy favorite for me at the moment, and it's really refreshing too, because when they put Simple into the lineup initially, they had problems.
It's game time. OpTic have got 2 guys on grenades, 2 smokes are in tow, and the Molotov as well, which may be used to clear out an area, maybe used post-plant, as we saw Mousesports try to do on Cobblestone a few days ago. We will have to see. I wonder, will we see a short smoke, for example, one for the car position? So many questions. Could have a post-plant smoke as well, as you commonly see when the T's plant on the A site. 2 players boosted to start things off. Won't be ideal for range, but the numbers game is good. JW on the flank. This could be a massacre, Dan. This could be a war crime, but it won't be. Rush, he's facing the right direction. He's just waiting, but has he given up the ghost? Has he given up the game? Do GODSENT know what's going on? They're not rotating just yet.
This is so important. What a beautiful frag there onto JW. They are going into the rush with a man advantage. Lecro, lots of work to be done. Finds one, instantly traded by Stanislaw. That's good work here from OpTic Gaming. They do need to plant the bomb still. Don't have to rush things too much. And indeed, they will be able to get the bomb planted. And we have GODSENT repositioning themselves to try to get to use the time that they have, as well as them having a kit and a smoke to figure out the best approach. And interestingly, you would not often see this kind of approach where they all rotate together through into A main.
Yep, Snyder holding the wide angle. Can he get killed? Mixwell, oh no, he almost clutching it himself. Flusher versus 3. The T's can set up now for the trade track. Who's going to peek first? Nafly on the high ground. Both other players on the site. This should be not doable for Flusher. He's got the defuse kit, but how can he find these kills? He can't. OpTic straight back in the game on the pistol.
That is so important for OpTic. I mean, it can't really be understated, can it? Getting that pistol win, already such a deficit, allowing themselves to start off with, a decent start into this second half and not really feeling like they're behind, but instead feeling like they have space to work with despite the 4-round deficit that they're currently staring down. Now, OpTic tend to be quite the disciplined team, and that's so incredibly crucial in getting all the edges in a round like this. When you're up against pistols with Kevlar, you want to be in a spot where you lose max one person. That is really one of the best case scenario that you can expect when you're against top tier teams. And initially you can see their approach started off passively, iron out any potential aggression. Then after maybe 20-30 seconds more, we'll start to see them combining together, using the grenades to get onto a bomb site.
GODSENT really don't want OpTic coming back into this game. Even JW's forced. If this is not successful, there won't be any early AWP unless he can get that knife going. You can see he is just peeking, just waiting to see when the players come in. A grenade onto Pronax, a grenade onto Flusher. They're in separate areas though. There will be no combination. See Flusher there facing mid as he normally does. Quite interesting to watch him play that position as well. Likes to hold the off angles and then peek a bit later on when you're in your comfort zone. OpTic with 45 seconds on the clock. Haven't done anything just yet. Looking to head towards a B split.
Already the GODSENT are starting to drift towards B, so they are starting to read this. They have the bodies in place, but the key thing here from OpTic is that they have the grenades for these players. But Snyder, oh my god, Snyder, that could have been so dangerous, but he is going to be dealt with, and that is very, very good news for OpTic. They haven't lost anybody just yet. Starting to use those Molotovs as well to deny more positioning, and I don't even know how, but they actually have 5 players alive right now.
That could have been everything. Ended up being nothing, however. JW and Lecro have a fair amount of money to try and hold on to at this point, but maybe they'll choose to take something away. Nafly picked off, but it can't really recover his weapon just yet. We'll have to wait for the explosion, so no Ts are in the vicinity. Stanislaw keeping an eye on things, and there we go. JW eliminated, so he will be saving no money for a future round. Lecro with 21 HP. OpTic, we've seen some comebacks already on the T side from them, and you have to wonder if GODSENT will be ready for the duels once both teams get into the buy rounds.
Man, this Snyder situation is so scary, because if Tarek, or the player who's at the back, it was Mixwell. So yeah, if the player who's kind of at the back there doesn't notice, and Snyder gets an instant kill there, the other 2 players, it's so confusing that there is like this good window of time where Snyder gets to actually maybe just kill 2 extra players. It's so dangerous. And that was a lovely spot that he found himself in. Doesn't work out this time for him, but OpTic Gaming, they're going to be loving it right now. Surviving with so many players in that round. They have the Mac 10 still on Naf here, and they're going to be against players without helmets for the most part. And we can see that they're going towards A. Oh, they're going to spot the run boost there. Easy kills for Tarek and Naf. Oh, that's a great way to start things off here for OpTic.
Schneider's playing on off angle though. But Stanislaw's checking it. Nice stun. Schneider looking for the value play with the knife there. No knife for him. This is going to be a brief round, probably, unless Lecro can get more done. Tarek is tagged. He won't want to peek. It's a nice combination of grenades. So we'll see if ELEAGUE can last. He picks up a Mac 10 now. If he gets close, maybe he switches to that. But can he get close? There's Tarek he's facing, but I don't think he should re-peak with 24 HP. No reason to go down.
You have to give respect to ELEAGUE when he's got a deagle. I mean, if there is one thing that he has reasserted every single tournament, it's that you don't want to mess with him when he's got a deagle. He's one of those players that just brings the magic out on a somewhat consistent basis with that deagle in hand. But he will be taken down, so it really seems very smooth so far for OpTic Gaming, and they're going to be going up against GODSENT, who, as you mentioned previously, JW did get the Deagle Kevlar, so he can't afford an AWP in this situation on the first buy round. So this is almost like a mirror. OpTic doing to GODSENT what GODSENT did to them in the first half, and now OpTic only 2 rounds away from evening up the scoreline. So this is the comeback really is on.
Yeah, this is an important half for Pronax to turn up in terms of fragging power. 4 kills at the moment. He'll need more than that if GODSENT are to win this match. 2-1-2 starts for the Swedish side. JW potentially in a position to rotate between mid and A, should it be required. But it's Flusher who's heading towards A with nothing going on in mid for the time being. OpTic asking questions with a smoke towards quad. Just teasing. But the entire OpTic side are here. Schneider and Pronax playing very deep in the B bomb site. Rotation will be long, so GODSENT must prevail on this A site.
This is going to be tough, isn't it? ELEAGUE, he finds himself a good first one to start things off with, but he is blind though. Does get eliminated. Nice trading coming in from OpTic, but playing from a player behind has left him in a sorry state of affairs, as the bomb still needs to be planted. Still needs to be collected as well by Stanislaw, who's the only player with any semblance of health on him. And at the same time, the flank is starting to come in. Pronax is running all the way around the back. He's going to find himself rushed in a fairly timely manner. And Stanislaw also has problems of his own on the site, and without the proper support here, both of these players are kind of playing almost by themselves, and Rush, you'll see he'll go down. Everything on Stanislaw's shoulders now. 30 seconds to play with. A very tough spot indeed against 2 players.
Taking a risk, giving himself options with that plant, and he'll move towards main. But Pronax, who's going towards Squeaky, but they're going to come from the same direction. If they peek 1 by 1, Stanislaw's surely going to do a 180 if he frags the first person. Spotting Pronax, and there's Schneider facing at the same time. Pronax will come out on the side, and that is GODSENT back to winning ways. 2 players surviving will be spectacular for their cash, of which they do not have much. OpTic are going to come back with yet more fire. Look at all the money on the T side.
He was really unlucky, James. He had 9 bullets, and he couldn't even reload. He actually had just 9 bullets. I think if he actually had, let's say, a full clip there, he'd feel more confident to spray down that first player, use the cover, and maybe get another one-on-one with like at least 5 to 10 bullets left. That's kind of that's one of those times when actually having not enough bullets in your gun loses you an important clutch potentially. So it doesn't happen too often, but when it does, it stings. And if you're not Scream, it's a little bit tough.
1-2-2 setup, slight change for GODSENT. JW going close to mid with that close quarters gun. Has a significant damage drop off, as all SMGs do at range. There'll be no boost, but he'll be under the boost for the time being. It's a nice place to bounce a grenade off the ridge in the wall. No one does it in professional matches, but if there is a boost being attempted, it does colossal damage to the T's on the other side. Slow start from OpTic. Molotov going through into the vent area, maybe suggesting a B play, maybe helping the players approaching B, Stanislaw and Tarek.
Deploying flashbang.
Stanislaw gets himself a peek there. Pronax, wow, I'm not sure how he won that fight, but he will be traded. Very, very big trade as well. Tarek, will he actually get confident to try to take over checkers? He's backing away actually. Push comes into mid. JW against the masses. He's got Flusher in for some support too. Trades incoming. Mixon needs to deliver another one though, but Flushers won't allow it. Despite the bomb going down, Flusher realizes we have the man advantage. Don't have to push my luck right now in this position. And OpTic, I mean, it's not over for them either. 2 versus 3 with 35 seconds left on the clock. As far as GODSENT are concerned, they could go to A or B at this point.
Schneider on the B bomb sites alone. He will hear the sound, he'll raise the alarm, but again, it's a very long rotation for GODSENT. A smoke grenade would have been very useful for him to put at the front of the site, but he doesn't have that. Peeking in his own flames, and he will fall to his own flames. That was a gamble that did not pay off for him. CT's coming in now. Flusher from the vent. We've got Lecro from CT. Looking to go on the high ground, I think. Post plant. Does Flusher know that both T's are on the site?
Yeah, Lecro looking for that first peak. Spots ahead. And they seem to realise what's going on. Tarek gets the duel, but Flusher finishes them both off. Finding GODSENT into that 12th round on the board. Lovely stuff there for GODSENT. And this gets scary now for OpTic. They did get the bomb planted, and they have lost a couple in a row now. So that is going to be some money for them to be able to buy with. But it does feel like GODSENT are starting to find their feet in the CT defense. This was quite the play. Oh, Snyder.
Oh man, okay. So he had 100 HP. He chose to stand in the flames, right? That's the last place they're going to look, so it's reasonable. But he got tagged down. I think he got tagged for like 50 when he was in the flames. So suddenly he can't afford to stand in there anymore, and he gets barbecued. 4-round lead for GODSENT. OpTic with 5 AKs. JW on the AWP once again. Moving into the middle area. Always got to be careful of a fast peek through T-Warehouse, which he's looking for. He will stay in connector. No one in A to start off with for GODSENT. Trying to read a fast play from OpTic, but there is no such play.
3-man push on B storage here. Get that info for GODSENT. It's going to work out for them. Stanislaw goes down. Early man advantage here for GODSENT, and unlike the previous situation where GODSENT were doing receiving that from OpTic CT side, GODSENT don't have OpTic don't have players on the A side of the map, so they can't just rush down the A bomb site when they see 3 players so early on B to try to punish that play. So instead now they're just sitting here with almost no utility and at a man deficit, committed into that B bomb site where you have both Schneider and Pronex sitting on the back of the bomb site. Fast rotation too. Already GODSENT seem to realize this is coming.
This time Schneider has a smoke grenade. He could choose to drop it in front of the site, but he's going to put it in the back to put out the Molotov. That limits where he can stand. Down he goes, down Pronex goes as well. The kills are flying in for the T side, but it's down to 2 versus 2. The CT's out of position. The bomb can go down. I think it's being planted for checkers once again. And Mixwell's made his way there. I think JW might have heard him.
No nades left here for either side. It's all about hitting the shots now, walking into the setup. JW and Lecro, can they predict where people are standing? Oh, it looks like Mixwell already gets himself the spot on the barrel. In comes quickly Naf to try to go for the trade. He can't get there in time though, and JW beats him to the punch. Defuse in here for GODSENT. That brings him to 13. OpTic are 3 away from being eliminated, and it looked so good for them at the early stages of the second half.
I was not expecting that to happen. Yeah, I think if you're playing any B bomb site almost, and you're in the site, if you put a smoke at the front, it really makes it hard for the T's to push, and it can buy time for your team, but with the Molotov behind him, chose to put that out instead, but I think it makes it more awkward for the CTs in that situation. How GODSENT got back and took that round, I have no idea, but indeed, they're getting a lot closer. OpTic still have a buy, however, that plant definitely helps. Mixwell down to the UMP, Tarek down to a Galil. Pronax on a UMP of his own, but it is GODSENT with the cushion at the moment, and indeed Pronax is starting to catch up. 9 kills on the board for him now. Fast play from OpTic into mid, maybe looking for a quick B split. Not going to work out so far though. 3 super fast kills for GODSENT.
Yeah, just that 3-man setup once again towards the B storage area, working out well, but Rush with the triple kill. He's left on him with 23 points of health. The bomb is down behind him. He's got more players to deal with. 2 men in fast there from GODSENT to clean things up. And another gamble early in this round from GODSENT on the CT defense, but they just had superior numbers, surprisingly, to the T's here. As the CTs, it's kind of crazy. Just all this B storage action. Rush did his best to try to save it, but he just couldn't handle the odds. Now it is just 2 more for GODSENT. They're so close.
Tactical timeout from OpTic Gaming. They are averaging $3,200. Rush is one different. He's got $4,000. GODSENT at 14 points. Now the question raises, do they choose to force or do they play against match points? And it seems it is the former. Tarek's picked up a scout once again. Stanislaw, Tech 9, loads of nades. Mixwell's got enough to buy the Galil. You can see the buy here. It is a jumble sale buy. They've taken the family furniture while the parents are on holiday, and they've sold it for loose change.
OpTic, what can they do? they don't have much in the way of grenades. It's going to be straight up into that B site, perhaps. Tarek leading the way. There has been so much aggression there that maybe he could get a quick pick off, but back into a default setup here, more or less, from the GODSENT side. One man checkers, one man on the site. And there is the classic smoke grenade from the CTs to try to deny some forward positioning, allow them more space to work with in the checkers area as well. And OpTic, they bide their time. But in this time, will GODSENT push the other side of the map to start to realize what's up? I don't think they will, so OpTic might have to drop onto this defense on B.
Corrected, that's going to be good enough. He spots lots of information. He falls down by the team. Now there are 4 outside the B bomb site. Can they rotate fast enough? Schneider holding an angle. He's got to crouch to see through the vent at that point, and they're rotating away. Schneider hears it though. Playing close now. That's a lovely angle, but you can hear people when they land on that. You can wallbang him from that if you know those sounds. It is a very specific sound in that area. But it seems OpTic have no idea. But here we go, Mixwell on the boost. It's the last place he's going to check though. You see Schneider holding the angle, has the shadow advantage as well. Mixwell goes down to 3. In the meantime, Tarek heads on JW towards short. 3 versus 3.
Absolute madness here. Schneider's trying to push the issue. Pursuing. Oh my god, just unrelenting is Schneider. Seemingly finally gives up the ghost, but there's still a player behind him trying to refrag this situation. Nice pop flash comes in, but somehow now survives on 1 health. And now has 2 players left for GODSENT. We've got Lacro sitting in a nice position there towards the bomb site, as we have another skirmish there in the middle area from Flusher. Holding down Nap. He's pinned in middle, and Lacro's great positioning comes into play. Tarek has to hit the shot, misses the first. No chance for the second, and GODSENT find themselves on match point. So many match points.
All the match points in the world. The 4th buy didn't work out, but they still have enough money for a reasonable buy, all things considered. We're going to see some more AKs. There we go, Rush getting taken down early, and then a patient play from Lecro to finish Tarek off after the jump. GODSENT with all the match points in the world. A much better performance from them on cash this time around. 2 AKs being wielded by the CT side. No sniper rifle on this occasion. They won't be too concerned. Stanislaw just jump peeking to see if there's any fast play, but he can't see that now because of the smoke. It's a pop flash angle for Pronex. May come in a bit later on. OpTic, 2 towards A, 2 towards B. Stanislaw has to make sure no one's boosting and no one's pushing through mid.
They have 2 nades left. They have 2 grenades. That is not a good sign for OpTic. On the attacking side, you need grenades to deposition the CTs, to close down positions. It is very tough in that spot. I do wonder if, why they didn't maybe get a Tech 9 in there, just to have one guy who's got loads of nades. Because now they're in a spot where they have to just get these raw aim battles going in their way, and it hasn't been too consistent for them across this map so far. And Lecro with that push in Squeaky, he could start to put the pieces of the picture together, as that bomb is still down in middle for the OpTic Gaming side, and Lecro could find everybody there. Could be a free one, but no, Stanislaw able to recover after just being in midair just moments before, getting the kill onto Lecro. And that information doesn't mean too much to Lecro gathered, but there is time. There's not much time left. 40 seconds to go.
Schneider still in the vent, shutting things down. This is all OpTic now. A 2nd kill, a 3rd kill. He's got a bomb at his feet as well. 2 players remain for OpTic. The rotation coming in from Stanislaw. He's got 20 HP. Rush trying to clear the B bomb site, but he can't get into the vent to get the bomb. Stanislaw must succeed here, otherwise that's GG. Down he goes, and that's the end of the round. OpTic are leaving the major.
And Rush finally eliminated by Pronax. Great quad kill coming in from Schneider to clean things up. And a clean result it was, 16-8, a surprising result. OpTic